Hey now, what is up, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka Review King MB, and I'm here to do my top 10 favorite superhero movies of 2019. Now, I know that this is very subjective. Not everybody is going to agree with my list, but that's fine. I am ready to defend, duke it out, and get right into this list. I have 10. At number 10, Hellboy, the reboot of Hellboy. Hellboy was a series that I wasn't all that attached to, if I'm being honest. I watched them for the first time last year, and I thought they were fine to okay at best, but I didn't love them. I wasn't in love with them. I liked Ron Perlman a lot, but I wasn't as attached. So when I heard about the reboot, I wasn't as angry. I really liked David Harbour, so I thought this could be something cool. I thought this could be something that maybe was even edgier and darker. And yeah, there was a little bit of that. It was rated R and whatnot, but it felt like more of the same as far as Hellboy and him being the the king of hell. I mean, I know that's a part of the character, but those movies weren't old enough for them to reboot this and just retell the same story. You really could have just taken Hellboy, had him even recasted if you really, really want to, and just do a new story. Have it be further along in his career so that it didn't feel regurgitated, so it didn't feel like they're doing the same film all over again. Number 9, Reign of the Supermen. This was something, an animated DC film that I wanted to work, I wanted to love. They did the death of Superman last year, the previous year, and the following year they were going to do part two. And I thought it was a good idea, but for some reason, it seems like DC has cheaped out a little bit on their animation lately. The animation I thought was really lazy and piss poor, and their mixing of these old classic stories, the death of Superman. I mean, that's huge when you think about it, and then everything that happens in the aftermath of his death. Them taking that story and then just blending it in with the new 52 storylines and trying to make all of that work, trying to create their own continuity, but it always feels awkward to me. This felt no different. It just felt like a lot of these story beats didn't flow, it didn't work as well as it could have. I like being introduced to certain characters like Steel and Superboy and Cyborg Superman, but I wanted to love this. I wanted this to be a nice, big, epic Superman story that we clearly not getting in live action anytime soon. So I thought the animated side of things could have taken it further, but for the most part, I thought it was just okay. Number 8, Batman Hush. Here's a story that I could not wait to be told, that I was looking forward to Hush finally on screen, whether it was animated or live action, whatever. I was going to take it, whatever you give me. And Batman animated movies, for the most part, gives me something, leaves me with something to be satisfied with. And I thought this movie was giving that to me. I thought this movie was going to deliver the story and be faithful about it. And then there's a twist. I don't want to give it away because it is still this year and it's fairly new, so I don't want to spoil it on that level. But the twist kind of ruins this movie for me. I think that a lot of the setup and I think a lot of the usage of some of the other villains and characters are fine, but the twist I sort of hate. The twist I sort of just check out and go, all right, well, they kind of ruined the Hush character, and it's again these new DC movies and the new 52 stuff. They just I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're going for. I don't know why they're doing it. Number 7, Glass. Glass was highly anticipated, one of my like top 2 or 3 anticipated films of the year. I could not wait for this, mostly because of how much I loved Unbreakable, and then Split having that great last scene showing that it was connected to Unbreakable, and just having that connection building towards a showdown between Bruce Willis and McAvoy. I mean, I couldn't wait to see it. Bringing back Mr. Glass, Sam Jackson. This was a recipe for success. So would seem. And you know what? I remember seeing reviews of people saying that they thought this was boring, they thought it was slow, they thought not enough action and stuff like that happened for the first 2 hours. And you know what? I disagreed. I was into it. I liked the dialogue stuff. I liked seeing the characters in this hospital and in having these therapy sessions and trying to get into their head and trying to see if the superhero stuff was real. I mean, obviously it was a little redundant with how much they did of it. It clearly didn't have to be over 2 hours like it was. But I was okay because I figured we could sit through this stuff. It was at least written fairly well, and it had good performances, especially from Sam Jackson and James McAvoy doing those split personalities. He never seemed to fail. And then the twist, because M. Night could not help himself. He had to give a twist, and he did it again. He screwed up. He screwed the pooch. He was coming back to form. He impressed everybody with his last couple movies, and then he brought his twist back, and I thought he ruined this movie. I thought he ruined the story. I thought he gave me an ending that was so disappointing, so just lame as all hell. Number 6, Batman versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is something that when you hear it, it sounds bizarre. It sounds crazy. I mean, I know it comes from the comic books, but still, would this work in a movie form? But I ended up really enjoying this film. I had a lot of fun with it. Batman as a character, you can't really go wrong. I'm going to have fun with it and enjoy it, at least on some level. But the Ninja Turtles being so much fun, interacting with Batman on a level that surprisingly worked very well. Having characters like the Joker and Harley Quinn, of course, never gets old. Number 5, Captain Marvel. Now, I know that some people really didn't like this movie, and I know other people who love this movie. I thought it was really good. I enjoyed Brie Larson. I thought she did bring a certain personality and a certain dynamic to this character. I know she's very overpowered. I know you could argue that maybe she's too overpowered, and some people argued that they just didn't like her non-emotional side. But I think it worked. I think most of the humor worked. I think the scrolls and the usage of the scrolls worked very well. I like the aspect with Jude Law, and you have Sam Jackson in there. The movie takes place in the 90s. I liked a lot of things about the film. There's really only one thing that I don't like, and maybe that's what makes this for me at number 9. It's involving Sam Jackson and the explanation for how he lost his eye. I actually really hate that part. Number 4, Shazam. Oh no, controversial. I just put a DC movie over a Marvel film. How does that make sense? I thought I was a Marvel shill. I had a lot of fun with Shazam. I thought Zachary Levi was great. A lot of fun. You could tell he enjoyed playing this character. You could tell that he had a blast playing this kid. Essentially, Billy Batson is a 15-year-old kid who gets the powers of a superhero. He acts accordingly. It makes sense why he's so immature and why he's so fascinated by all of the things that he's able to do. I like that the character looks up to Superman. I like that he has very similar powers to Superman. It seems like there was a lot of Superman homages. I just wish that we actually saw Henry Cavill in the suit. I liked Billy's dynamic with Freddy and the Foster family and how all of that played out. Mark Strong as the villain, you never really can go wrong. I love how the movie starts with the villain's origin in a sense, and him being rejected by the wizard sets the villain on his path. I thought that was a very interesting take. Number 3, Joker. Here's a film that some people will probably have in at their number 1 spot, and I get it. I do. This is a very dark film. This is a brutal movie. Great performance by Joaquin Phoenix. The brutal, real, gritty nature of the film is what draws you in. I myself maybe don't love the idea of, hey, this is the origin of the Joker, because I love the Joker. He's my favorite villain of all time, and I like the aspect of not knowing his origin. But when you give me a compelling story, when you give me a performance that is as good as Joaquin, when you give me something that is pretty fixating to watch. I mean, you can't take your eyes off of the screen, the direction, the way it's shot, the cinematography, the score especially. Number 2, Spider-Man Far From Home. Yes, at the end of the day, I am a Marvel shill because I love Spider-Man. I love this being the aftermath of what happened as far as Tony Stark's death and how that affects Tom Holland. Can do no wrong as Peter Parker. He is the best actor to play Spider-Man, Peter Parker, no doubt. And Mysterio. Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio, I thought was great. Not only when he's playing the good guy, but him towards the end of the movie, I just thought was a completely different side of him that I very much enjoyed. The special effects of Mysterio and the illusions that he has. I mean, it's so good. It's what I wanted to see in a Mysterio Spider-Man film for so long, and we finally got it. But my number one favorite superhero film of the year, surprise, surprise, Avengers Endgame. I could talk about this movie over and over again for so long, so many times, because it's easy to. And we get great performances from uh, Chris Evans and Scarlett Johansson and Robert Downey Jr., just everyone across the board, even Chris Hemsworth, who has his comic relief moments because he's now Fat Thor, but he too has moments of sadness and regret and failure. And seeing our heroes go through that is great. But not only all of that character stuff, not only bringing Thanos back, and not only the time travel aspects that let us essentially see the greatest hits of Marvel, but that end battle, holy crap, that end battle was some of the greatest cinema theatrics I've ever seen. I mean, I'll never forget that first time seeing some of these great big moments that happen. Oh, I love this movie oh so much. So, guys, let me know in the comments below what do you think of not only my top 10 best superhero movies list. Do you agree? Do you disagree? But what is some of your favorite superhero movies of this past year? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later.